Hello and welcome back to Ears to the East, where there are two of us. And, well, we've just come back from...
Band-Maid!
I thought you'd been rendered mute. As we were setting up all the sound check, I didn't know if I'd muted you by mistake.
I thought we were going for like a combined Band-Maid!
Oh, I apologise, yeah. it is like, what time is it? It's like nearly 11 o'clock, so we probably shouldn't have known about it too much. Yeah, so just like Misa, who got on stage and decided to recreate the sound of a can opening, they mic'd up her can as she opened it. Let's open our cans together. Yeah. I got Sapporo. You're going for Asahi Super Dry. Sapporo is like my favourite of the lagers, and he's got to have an Asahi Super Dry because
we got to do it, Misa.
Oh, I apologise. Yeah, I did enjoy that. All right, so a couple of things for anyone who doesn't know. So obviously Neon, he's been staying with me here. He's going to be staying with me for the rest of the month and a few days into August as well. And this is your first ever time seeing Band-Maid.
Yes,
Despite
it was.
You've been a Band-Maid follower, fan for the longest time.
Yes.
So this was kind of a biggie. I think this was a biggie. Just to give a little bit of context, we saw them at TOYOSU PIT, which is a fairly standard, medium-sized venue, kind of similar to a lot of the Zeps if you've been to one of those. We have filmed a bit of blogging, so we're not going to give away everything because there's some stuff that we did blog about that we'll be able to show you a bit later. But let's talk a little bit about the show because this was quite a show.
It was way more eventful than I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought this would be a box standard show. Obviously, we'll get into that a little bit in a bit. But yeah, I mean, from my personal point of view, it was everything I hoped and dreamed it would be. You look at like Psyche and you look at the girls and you think, oh, they're so good when you watch them on YouTube, but like watching them on YouTube is nothing compared to actually being there and hearing just how awesome they are live. It's kind of surreal actually, but I really liked it. Probably my one downside with that was actually what you said about the venue. I was like really surprised. Like everything in Japan has been absolutely amazing, so I was kind of taken back that we were just in a box.
It is weird to explain. So, and obviously there's a lot of positives we have to talk about, but it is true that, like, so I'd taken you to a small live house the day before, which we'll talk about separately. But so you'd kind of already experienced one small gig in Japan. So I'm kind of glad for that, because if this had been your first experience, nothing about like TOYOSU PIT, like a lot of the Zep venues, nothing about it is very inviting. It's this big square. You walk into it, the front of it looks more like an airport terminal or a warehouse, you know. And then just everything. Then you get into the venue and it's very square. But then when the show starts, like the stage lighting, the video, they had this cool like 4-piece diagonal screen coming down where they were like doing really cool stuff with the visuals. That was great. But it is true that like if it's your first ever Japanese gig, I'm kind of glad that you went to a gig the day before, because if this had been your first ever Japanese gig, I think the venue perhaps wouldn't have been. It doesn't convey the excitement that the show does.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely felt almost Western a little bit, like just the box and everybody kind of stood there a little bit. That's so weird to explain. Like since I've been in Japan, everything has been absolutely amazing. By the way, it's the perfect balance between sort of modern and this like old school Oriental elegance that they've got going. And this was probably the first time I've stepped into a building and was just like,
well, I think that's the thing is that, I mean...
Look, this looks familiar.
was the old Douglas Adams quote, there's a reason why no language has a word for as pretty as an airport. And it's basically like, that's the feeling I get with some of these like modern venues, is that basically they're efficient, which is great. They're very efficient, but like they don't have that excitement that like older venues like Budokan or even the Tokyo Dome have, where you go into it and it kind of has this sort of seeping character that adds to it. So for me, it was really cool that when Band-Maid came on stage, like their performance, like their character really bled through on stage.
Yeah, they did. That's another thing as well. It's like you can't convey just how charismatic they are on a video. It's kind of like what, no, to put this into layman terms, I'm sorry, I'm going to use a sports analogy here, but when you watch a football game, it's not only what the TV cameras show you, but you watch the rest of the players outside of what the TV camera shows you, and you see what's happening outside and what's building up. And that's exactly what it's like for Band-Maid. Even if like Miku is front and center and the camera's on her, watching like Misha on the periphery go around and interacting with the other girls and doing her bass things, like that's the thing it's not focused on at that particular time, but you can't help but
I noticed that with the
draws
Oh
to
Imagine
that.
I time, because I mean a lot of people have seen this on previous clips. With the Oh Imagine I time, obviously you've got Miku up front. She's singing to everyone. I was talking to everyone really, and but behind her, like we had a situation where we had Misa and Akane were both sitting there just like pretending to fall asleep.
Yeah, just chilling out. Yeah. Brilliant.
But now an interesting thing is that you went in there. Now you are a normal heighted guy. when you went in there, you realized
hang on, let me have some beer for this.
yeah, you realize that the average height of people is not necessarily going to dictate what you see. It's always the tallest guy who dictates what you see.
Well,
the weakest link in the chain.
There's people here that will know this on running gig, but I have a little bit of a habit of like being in a gig and standing behind the freaking tallest person there. Now, I was taller than I would probably say about 98% of these people, and you and this other bloke with this hat. It was really good in the end, to be fair. Like for like the first 20 minutes of this gig were just stood like that, and I'm like,
hey, I was deliberately getting to one side so you could see over my shoulder. In fact, I even offered for you to climb up on my shoulder at one point.
That is just this
Not
guy.
that
This
that's
guy had one of
patronising.
those like fishing hats on, so it went like out, and I was like, every time I like found a bit of space, I was like, I can see. He'd move his head. I'm like,
he did have a habit of like somewhat obstructing your vision a bit.
He did. And I'm looking round, and I'm like, the worst part is like I had those two guys stood right there, one of them being you, and I'm looking to my left, and I'm looking to my right, and the two guys next to me are like half my size. I'm like, I don't have it that bad.
Yeah, there was one quite short guy next to you because basically
I love his energy, by the way.
So well, I was going to say because like in the TOYOSU PIT, you have obviously you have the section standing areas, and the front standing area is pretty broad, and we were kind of like at the back of the front. We were basically at the back of the lowest level, to stage level one, which did kind of put us around about, I'd say 1/3, like half to 1/3 of the way forwards. I couldn't really see the back, but it felt like we were about maybe 1/3 from the front, and we had a good view and everything. But obviously, because we were at the back of that section, and therefore there was nothing lower than us, it's just the stage a bit raised. The guy who was standing next to you was actually short, but I tell you what, he bounced enough to get a view of everything. He kept himself elevated in a much more energetic way than
he was bouncing up and down. I was like, I just looked at him. I was like, God bless you, man. God bless you. It was incredible to see. But once Miku had her like sort of Miku time after the first break, I saw a lot of people sort of vacate the premises. But that was actually quite surprising. I don't know if you noticed that a lot of people sort of moved out. I don't know if that's
saw
like
a couple of people who went for a piss during that period.
Do you reckon that's what it was?
It was. That's what it was. There were ways to tell that they were overseas visitors. Let's put it that way. And they were moving through, and I think basically the idea, and I think they were probably right about this. They'd probably seen Band-Maid shows online, and as a result, they were probably like, Miku's going to talk for like 20 minutes because she always does. And he's like, bit Miku and Psyche, and they were probably thinking, we are not going to understand a word of this. Now is a good time to get a free piss in, and I don't blame you for that. Because when we walked in, obviously they had like you have the drink tokens, but in this case, you pay the drink token, and you go through a little thing, and you just pick up whatever drink you want from like a basket. And so a lot of people had just walked into that venue, down like 500 mils of a drink, and so basically half an American pint, and so they were. Oh no, actually, that is an American pint, and so they had then like been dancing around for like 10 or 11 songs. They were like, you know what? She's going to talk 20 minutes. We're not going to understand it. We're going to the toilet. Yeah. And so I kind of respected that. I don't remember if they came back, but I'm assuming they came back because it would be a really weird thing to do, leave at that point and go, well, I've seen everything.
I've seen everything there is to see, yeah.
That's just where the show ends, right?
But there was like I said, there was quite a few people that left. And that just gave us the extra little space to be able to wiggle.
That's true. We did. When that happened, we were able to sort of like shift forwards a bit.
And that gave me pretty much an uninterrupted view there, because I had you to the left of me and I had the other guy with the hat.
We kind of split around a couple of people in the middle.
And I was just like, yeah, just gonna get in that. And then that was the...
You paint such a picture, my friend.
That's later tonight off camera.
Got to pay extra.
We got to pay extra for that on the OnlyFans. But yeah, like we managed to that.
Gets me one beer and he
Drink up, mate. It's the sleeping tablets that are in the beer that's going to do you in. Don't worry.
I wondered what this was.
But yeah, that allowed me the view to be able to see much more of the girls. And then after about that 20 minutes, because there was one point I was like, oh my god, did I travel halfway across the world to
look at the
back of Howard's head? you know, but then
Yes,
eventually,
you did.
yeah, but eventually 20 minutes in, I got a quite good view of the girls, which really kind of made the experience really worth it at the end of the day. And then to add insult to injury, everybody moved out of the way, and then the screens turned on for like the girls that are all like massive 10,
Yeah, so they
20-foot
because
projectors.
the screen system was interesting here. It was only at the back of the stage, which most venues is the case. But you had like one main kind of triangle and then two diagonal bits coming off of it, and they kind of put it together.
Yeah.
Really cool the way they did
But I
that.
liked the way that each like sort of triangle or slit had one band member on each one.
It really worked because if they started off like at the beginning of the show, obviously you have the big animations for the beginning. Then like usually the backstage videos are done in like 4 segments for most bands. You know, you have the first bit where it's like big, you know, video show. Then the second segment of the show will usually be much darker, so it's for you more focus on the band right in front of you. Then the third stage, usually like the third quarter of the show, is when they'll just show the band through like TV cameras on the back of the stage to get your eyes reset, and so because you're probably tired of looking at these tiny people in the distance. And then at the final few songs, usually they go back to animations. This is a fairly standard way of doing video screens, and they did that here. But what I really liked is, especially during Choose Me, they had when it came to the chorus and everyone was playing, they literally had the 5 segments were the 5 members of the band, so they had trained a camera on each member of the band. It was just so cool. You had this great like
it was like that for a while as well, which I really enjoyed. It was nice going backwards and forwards and seeing each member for an extended amount of time.
Well, Don't You Tell Me was interesting because they really tried to focus one side was Misa and one side was Konami when they came up to do the solos
were
together.
amazing. I can't. Misa's amazing, by the way.
I had noticed by the fact they went quiet at one point, and from the right hand side, we would slightly separate at this point, and then from the right hand side of me during one quiet section, you occasionally hear someone going, "Oh, Miku Ashitaria," and just from the right of me, I heard, "I love you, Misa." I was like, it's a bit love puddling. Is there a fucking Scouser in here? Oh.
Miku gets too much attention. It's all about Misa. Misa.
It was the finger motion you did there that concerned me.
Again, later tonight on the OnlyFans.
You could get a restraining order by the end of this. That's why we're drinking this, just in honour of Misa. But yeah, I will say that the solos, they usual Don't You Tell Me, that kind of thing, it was absolutely brilliant. They did a couple of instrumental numbers as well. Can we talk about the one particular special song, but also there was another special thing they did in here. All right, let's talk about What Is Justice. Now,
what is justice?
What is justice? I am justice.
What is justice? So, that was the first thing that popped into my head when I saw the title. I was like, oh my god.
Well, I'm going to be honest, because obviously we'd known this song's been coming for a while. They announced at the show that it's going to come out on the 18th, and ironically, after we left the venue, we saw like they'd announced the premiere. So the premiere coming out in a week from tonight. Is it the 11th today? So basically a week from tonight. And so we were looking at that, and we were like, okay, this is really cool, but we're probably still going to do the reaction because we saw it live.
Yeah.
But seeing it live, I stand by what I said. If you see a song live for the first time, same thing I said about WAAAIT by Neki, we'll get there.
That's to come.
We'll get there. Same thing I said about...
On the OnlyFans.
Again, we need to talk about why you opened that account. When we talk about, like, when you see a song live for the first time, I feel like often, when you see a song live, a lot of what you're doing is you already know the recording, and so you know every single nuance. If you don't hear every single nuance, you don't miss it. Because you can interpret it in your brain. It's more about the atmosphere. So when you hear a song live as your first impression of it, you kind of wonder how much more is it that I'm not hearing that I have to fill in the gaps on. Now, when we heard this song, I got to be honest, the general vibe I got from it, very straight shooting, simple, hard, rocking, big melody. I could see Konami was doing some stuff that I'm not sure I could really properly make out what she was doing, but you could hear that she was doing something complicated that was kind of adding like a nice sort of detailed flow. But what really struck me is for a song that was clearly all about punchy chorus, the few songs I can think of where like Psyche is just that fucking go in the chorus. Like she was back singing, screaming these notes out. It was really kind of pushing the higher end of her voice throughout the entire chorus. It really felt to me like this was my voice is comfortable. to the troubles of the past along behind me, and I'm ready to break my voice box in whole new ways. Yeah, it was really powerful.
I said that in a couple of like previous videos as well. It really feels to me like when I discovered Band-Maid, like it was always like sort of Miku centric, and Psyche, even though she was the lead singer, kind of took this like almost secondary role a little bit as the promoter. She came across as a bit cold, but I really feel like after everything that happened with her throat and now we're moving on, it really feels like she's growing individually. Like she's doing so much things that I've noticed over the past year, like the cheeky little winks, the little butt wiggles, the kind of the charisma that she has on stage, and that again was really apparent in the song. Like she was loving it, she was giving the crowd cheeky smiles, little winks.
I noticed that like much more like I've been lucky enough to see them going back to like 2020, I believe was the first time I saw them. Was it 2019 or maybe 2019? And Line Should Be a Cube before COVID, so you guys will know which one it was. And so that was for Conqueror, and it's interesting because I've seen her confidence build, but I really noticed when they showed the video screens and they were like looking at her face, she was doing a lot more of these wide-eyed, like really like intense stares, and she was really staring at the camera, and you could see like there was this kind of, and that kind of wide-eyed stare that you only do if you're really kind of like you're really letting the rock god inside out. But of course we all know the stories about how she came from a very different kind of scene. She had to be convinced about the maid dresses. Obviously this is over a decade ago, but this is something where she's kind of swept into it over time. And in the same way that I always laugh when people talk about Miku, like, oh, she's learning guitar. It's like, she's been learning for over a decade, she's fine. I kind of say the same thing about Psyche, but still at the same time, you know, people do show their increasing comfort with a role in different ways, and I kind of feel like Psyche is more and more, especially in this song, you really feel like she just looks like totally like she owns this. Yeah,
she's more in an element, more comfortable, and I think that really shows. I've been really impressed. I've been saying this for the past year. Just her body language and the way that she presents these songs, even like some of the old songs now feel like a breath of fresh air to me, just because of her body manners, her body language, the way that she does herself on stage. She's really confident. It's kind of like a, you know, the apprentice becomes the master situation here. You know, Miku has taught her well, and I'm really loving this more confident, happy-go-lucky Psyche.
I think Psyche's very much been her own teacher. Obviously, the band have taught a lot to each other, but I feel like it's more that Miku's provided this band, this environment in which she's flourished.
You can kind of see it even in Misa as well. Like, Misa was this, like, awkward girl, and even today, she's still awkward as hell. I think that's why I find it so cute, because she's that weird, shy one. But even then, even coming on stage and having that interaction, stuff like that, the girls encouraging her and just we're having a kind of a good time.
It is interesting how they've each had their individual stories that could be told on their own, but it's interesting how like Band-Maid's been this like background that's kind of brought them together. It's like the context of how they've helped each other, but also very much had their own stories. So just before we move on, so in regards to this song, I am very excited to hear the studio recording and very excited to see what they proposed for a video for this. And the reason being is because I felt like this had like big single energy. You know, definitely the chorus is like fucking hitting. And as an arrangement, it's not about, you know, there's no big guitar solo or anything in it. And I'm not going to spoil it too much, but basically it feels like a song that's very short, sharp, concise, direct. It's one of those songs where when it plays, you get it stuck in your head, and the first thing you want to do when it ends is press rewind and play it again. I think that's the goal. That's the
it's
way
the hook. I mean, again, two comparisons. I was there in Baby Metal for London. I've been really, really lucky this year. But I was in there in London when Baby Metal premiered Sunset Kiss. And the crowd
still haven't heard that yet.
Yeah, the crowd didn't quite know how to interact with that. They were like, "Oh my god, yes, new song! What do? We don't know this." whereas with this one, like,
can you imagine if that was at a prog band gig? It's like fucking every time somebody shakes, it's like, I'm really happy, but what's going on?
What's going on? Like everybody was like, "Yeah, new song," but it felt at that gig that everybody was like, "Shh, shh, 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 new song," and it felt with this Band-Maid gig that everybody was like, everybody kind of was taking it in for the first minute and a half.
Everyone was just kind of like fist pumping and just
they
listening.
were quiet, but they were kind of listening, and about halfway through the song, that's when you started getting the...
I mean, the chorus was so clearly pronounced that I mean, I think everyone was kind of like sort of fist pumping right from the get go, but it's like once they'd heard that first chorus, it's like it was so clear what the chorus was going to be. The second time it came around, everyone was pumped, and the third time it came around, everyone was 100% sold.
Yeah, I think that just shows why like the Japanese are obviously a lot smarter than the British because they didn't know what they were they didn't know what.
Is it racism when you do it to yourself? East Scouts, they're barely British.
Oh, fuck you.
Come on, you don't want to be part of London.
That's true.
One of the people in my community DM'd me and he thought that you were Scottish.
Oh,
So anyway,
Scottish. Wait, hey, lad.
We're still in the UK. So anyway, like I think that song's a banger. I'm looking forward to doing a reaction because, like I say, I get the feeling we definitely got the tone of it, but I feel there's a lot more detail yet to be heard. And I think if this song's mixed well, and I know people have very different opinions on recent Band-Maid mixes,
good though,
but
live.
we never know what studio is, but I feel like it's the kind of song that it could have a real punch. So I'm looking forward to that side of it. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about, if you don't mind, is they had like this phase before they had like the breakdown and the Miku time in the middle.
Yeah.
They did a run of, they basically did a medley of songs. They basically speed ran like a whole bunch of songs, just playing half a song next, half a song next, half a song next. I'd never seen that before. I had mixed feelings on that because in one part of me was like super excited, another part of me was like every time a song started that I was really into, I was like, oh shit, it's over. And like like Influencer getting cut off, like I was like, ooh, I don't know, I really like Influencer, man. There's like, ooh,
it's one of those like
it's difficult. Like, is it good to have a half a treat?
I'm happy, but also sad.
It was fun.
It was fun. But at the same time, there was like loads of songs on there as well we didn't hear that. I was like, oh, I'm kind of glad they didn't play that.
It's like, hey, we're not going to play this all the way through, but here's a little bit.
But
like, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Oh, yeah. The one song I did want them to play, or I was really hoping they would play live, and they've been playing a lot live recently, and I was like, of course they wouldn't play it the one show I wanted to, was Onset. I was like, I know that's an instrumental, and I know people are going to be
Hey, you've got plenty of instrumental.
Yeah, really an instrumental, but I love Onset so freaking much. So I was kind of gutted they didn't play that, but
in a way, I really respect the creative aspect of doing a medley. I mean, it was a fairly, it wasn't like a super rearranged medley where every song like bled into the next, but it was done in a kind of a fun, quick shooting way. And I appreciate, especially when you've had a long career, being able to revisit it.
They've got to that point now where they've got more good songs than I think they can play in one set. It's going to get harder. We're going to see more songs get dropped that we probably love.
I mean, like every time I don't hear Bubble, a little bit of me dies. Although Forbidden Tale, that kind of makes up for a bit.
Yeah,
so you could get into that bridge and be like,
it slowly kind of goes on. I don't know. I think I'd have to like listen to it again and sort of know how I truly feel about the harp songs. But I mean, at that moment, I was happy just to hear them. To be honest,
it's interesting because for me, as someone who's been fortunate enough to see them several times live before. For me, it was an interesting contrast, but in the back of my head, ironically, I was actually thinking of you, and I was thinking, I wonder how this feels for you. Like, every time there's a song comes on, you're, oh, fuck yeah, and then it ends. So I was kind of interested how you would feel about that. But it's one of those things, it's always going to be like, it's always going to be 50-50. You're always going to be happy to have heard more songs, and also a little bit sad not to have heard them fully.
You know, at the time, I don't think I really truly kind of processed it. I was just so happy.
It did take a couple before I suddenly realised what was going on as well.
Yeah, like I didn't quite click on at first. I was just happy to hear the songs more than anything, to be fair. And probably, like you, probably wasn't until like the third, fourth song in, I was kind of like, wait, am we not like hearing the whole entirety of this song?
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm happy they played it though. To be fair though.
No, that was awesome.
I mean, as an Englishman, I can't speak a lick of Japanese, but I understood that whole conversation. I didn't even have to get that translated. But I had Miku on her story time and telling us how much she loves America and anime.
wait, she had just come back from an anime convention. It was just her. It's not like they were off ignoring Europe playing gigs in America again.
No. But there's an on-running joke on our channels now. I was just sat there in the crowd.
It's not exclusive to our channels, I'll tell you that, my man. But the thing is that like, it was nice, and it was nice because actually Miku got up on stage and she spoke quite a lot of English, which was quite impressive.
She did,
quite impressive. With an American accent.
Oh God, no! Don't say that.
Actually, no, she had a pretty neutral accent, but it was like it was just like really cool to see her enjoying it. And I think my basic takeaway from the whole Band-Maid thing is it was just this like. I sometimes describe it when you see something where it's just this oozing sense of fun, and we will talk later, and we've done blogs where you'll see a little bit more in-person stuff where we'll talk about like places you've been, and you'll see more of it in other videos. But like, for example, when we went to the live house, it was very hands-on. Yeah, everything's moving, everyone's interacting, and I can't deny we were at this venue. It's a big square venue. It's very blocky, and you stand there, and the audience, they were lovely people, but you couldn't help it. We were so crammed in, they'd sold out that basically everyone was kind of like shoulder to shoulder. There was no real movement. Yeah. You were there where you were, and you were basically standing. I mean, other than jumping on the spot, you were basically just standing rooted to one spot. And yet, I couldn't help but feel that, despite that, and despite the fact I just decided to rest in my place and just sway for the entire thing, you couldn't help but feel there was this sense of fun that permeated through everything. This sense of happiness, joy. It's a band who every time you see them live, there is a sense that there's a real community. Even if you don't know the other people around you, everyone's just so happy to be there. It feels friendly. The band are so joyous on stage, the way they interact with the crowd. I love it when you see Psyche on stage and she's looking around and you can see her looking at the audience. She's got this big smile on her face, like, yeah. And it was cool, and just everything about it was lovely.
I think my takeaway from this would be, having seen them for the first time, having now seen them live, I think I appreciate them. I mean, I already loved them going into it, but I appreciate that I have a newfound appreciation for them.
It's kind of like a first-hand appreciation.
Yeah, like a first-hand appreciation. Again, all this little subtle nuances, all the sound as well. I mean, we haven't even got onto that, but considering that was just a big place, the sound was good. There was a few times where the guitar was a little bit louder than everything else in the mix. But that was like sparingly.
I felt for a big square venue, the sound was decent.
Yeah, it was good.
I mean, like I say, I think you couldn't, in a venue like that, you couldn't make out nuance. Nuance was missing. But I didn't expect that. I just wanted a decent balance. I just wanted a decent balance where I could hear the melody, I could bounce along, I could get the rhythm, I could enjoy it. And that you very much got in there. So I think it was what you wanted from a large venue like that. So yeah, is it a perfect place to really take in a performance in detail, to take in like a new song? Maybe not, but was it a place to have fun? Absolutely.
It was. The most ironic thing out of this whole show was the favourite part of your show wasn't actually inside the
Hold up.
pit, was
Wait,
it?
Don't say anything. You don't move.
Oh, okay, don't move. Oh god. I've opened the can of worms now. What's he doing? Oh shit, I've just exposed him in front of the whole Band-Maid community. He's going to hang himself. I'm so sorry for this inconvenience, guys. Actually, you know what? I'm not sorry. You know, just unfollow him. Just go and move over to my channel, Neon Reaper Reacts, and yeah, I'll take all the subs. Oh no, he's back. Don't forget it. Forget I said anything. Do you want to tell them or should I? Okay, I'll tell them. Well, we came out of the gig and we were both doing our vlogs. We just finished, and we were both walking out, and this lovely, cute Japanese woman gave us a little envelope. And both me and Howard didn't realise who it was. We took the envelope, both looked at it, and went, "Ah."
He means leaflet.
Leaflet, yeah, be it booklet, leaflet, whatever.
It's important.
It's important. Sorry. Looked at it and went, "Oh, it's Neki." And then we looked up at the woman that just gave it to us, and was like, "Oh, Neki."
It's like, Kanade. Kanade.
So that was an extra little...
Kanade.
Yeah.
But,
that was an extra little treat, wasn't it?
So, like, we looked up, and it's like... I saw the woman with the leaflet. I was like, wow, you look a lot like Kanade. And then she had this leaflet, and it was a Neki leaflet. I was like, wait, you are Kanade? I was like, this is kind of shocking. And so we had a chat with her. Obviously, as you know, they're a young band. They've got rising fame. So as a result, I did ask her, is it okay to take a photograph or sign something? And she was like, I can't really. And so that's why we don't have anything with them. But I'm sure you'll hear a lot of reports. They were outside the Band-Maid gig. And yeah, it was so nice because I'd met them once before, obviously, when they did the signing thing. And we had a brief chat at the time. And I've communicated a little bit with Neki's folks via Messenger about trying to get an interview at some point. But again, I understand they're very young and it's not really on the cards at the current moment for obvious reasons. But like just chatting to Kanade outside the venue was such a pleasure, and I was like over the moon. I was like, this is the best thing ever. I am so happy. And then we went to walk on, and as we walk on, it's like suddenly someone jumps up from the other side of the street. It's Kokoro, and Kokoro was like, hey, do you want a leaflet? It's like,
I've never seen Howard so giddy before in my life.
well, it escalated a little bit from there because like we started speaking to Kokoro, and then Kokoro was like, she's really happy. We're chatting, and I should point out actually when we spoke to Kanade, like she immediately before we even said anything, she looked at me, and I was like, and then she looks at me, huh? YouTuber? YouTube reaction. And she like recognized me straight away. I was like, okay.
And then she looked at me and was like, who the fuck are you? I was like, oh.
10 times as many subscribers, and I got that moment. But no, I mean, it was really cool because like she was very happy to see us. We had a nice little chat. But then speaking to Kokoro, same thing. She was really great. And I started joking with her. I was like, well, is all of Neki here? Like, it's the rest of Neki here. And no, actually, I said to her, I was like, oh, is it just the rhythm sections come out to hand out leaflets today? And then she was like, oh, no, 3 of us. Hika's over there. And I was like...
It was like Mr. Blobby had just come back and was like running down the street. Blobby!
I was like, well, Kokoro, it was lovely to meet you.
That was not how he was like at all.
Hey, I was very polite to Kokoro, but as soon as we got there, I was like, we'll pass Kokoro, we'll pass Kanade, and I was like... I tried not to terrify Hika. I don't think it worked.
To be fair, it was a lovely treat. A lovely treat for us both. I'd like to say, as jealous as I am that they recognise you, don't recognise me. I'm really happy we got that.
I think I've probably produced more Neki videos than any other channel on YouTube at this point.
To be fair,
I think I probably have.
To be fair, you're based in Japan, and you've spoken to some. I'm not surprised that they haven't seen some shitty little English channel that they probably got there.
Your channel's 10 times the size of mine. Stop it. But the funny thing is that like it was interesting because Kanade, like obviously she recognised like the videos a lot, and she's seen them, and so it was really nice to Kanade and Kokoro both recognise them.
I was really happy they recognised you. That was such a good moment.
And then when I ran up to Hika, which I was trying not to be too excited, but I was kind of running at her.
That was an understatement. It was like a full-on Naruto Mr. Blobby run. Yeah, like it was the stuff of nightmares.
This poor young girl is standing there with leaflets, and she's like, oh.
She turns around.
It's like, this Band-Maid thing, this was a bad idea. Abort. Poor fucking girl. And then I'm running.
Poor girls.
Well, they're women now, but still they're young, and there's a poor fucking nearly 40-year-old guy running at them. But I did speak to him. I did speak to him in Japanese, in all fairness. I spoke to Hika, and obviously she was really sweet and everything, and I just kind of like explained to her about like we chatted a little bit about the WAAAIT video filmed on Yokoshima, and I kind of like mentioned how I was like so happy about that, and and she started like just miming she started like humming the riff, and we were both like dancing the riff to WAAAAIT together, which is cool. But yeah, no, that for me that was like a priceless experience because I think a lot of people know like Neki is a straight top 3 band for me. They're in my little ambiguous top 3.
I mean, I can't even complain. Anyway, I said this to you, but again before, like in 24 hours, I've seen Eminu, who Emma recognized me, so I like already was like so happy. She was like, oh.
You got recognised straight off.
Yeah, she recognised me straight off the bat there, so that filled my heart with joy. So Neki could learn from that.
So you've discovered Train.
I was really impressed with Train. Came away really enjoying Train.
Got to see Eminu and met them and realised they recognise you.
Yep.
You've checked out a live house venue. You've got to see Band-Maid live for the first time in a proper fucking venue. Beautiful show, beautiful stage.
And then we ran into Neki and had a full-blown conversation with Neki. Like,
now
that's like 4
Neki.
bands in like less than 24 hours. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. It's okay. He's happy. So I didn't know he could run that fast.
With my hands above my head.
With his hands above my head.
All the Band-Maid fans were like, whoa. Yeah, no, you know, so I mean, I think everyone knows I've like adored Band-Maid forever. Like I've been following them since like was it January 2019. I'm a big Band-Maid fan, but I've always kind of had a soft spot for bands like upcoming bands, especially bands where you got that kind of connection. And Neki, we've seen them grow so much, but yeah.
Well, it's like we were talking again. What we were talking about when we had the dinner before. It's like, I mean, you've seen Band-Maid so many times now. It's like not that the novelty wears off, but you kind of
there is a certain degree of familiarity. And it doesn't make it any less enjoyable, but it does mean that when you go there, you kind of just like zone. Because the thing is, again, you're in this big room full of people. It's not like you really can do much. You just kind of plant into one spot for the best part. Even the people at the front, there wasn't like a huge amount of moshing or anything. It was just like, you know, it was fairly static kind of audience, but everyone was just kind of vibing, hands above their heads. It was like that kind of cool.
To be fair, it was actually a really nice experience. I'm glad you touched on that. Like usually when I go to like obviously British gigs, like there's always some kind of like bad, you know, shoving going on. Everybody's not dickish, well they can be, but like, you know, there's no common courtesy.
You felt the love in the room here, though.
But yeah, exactly.
You really
like you went in, we had people next to us. I had one guy, like kind of behind me, who seemed a little bit pissed off that I was like a bit taller than him. And anyway,
we kind of slid in front of him, but they left a lot of room.
They left a lot of room.
We slipped into a fairly open space in front of him.
And to be fair to him, he gave me a pat on the back, like literally halfway through the concert, because he saw me singing away. So he was like, "Oh, that foreign dickhead actually does know."
Was he the guy with like slightly long hair? Like
no, it was the bald guy behind me, like the sort of like tough looking one, like kind of stood like that for all of it.
Okay.
So I was kind of like, yeah, he must have was like, oh, he actually does.
Because the funny thing is, when we came in, like I said, with the back of the front section, and you had the barriers behind us, and then like the next slight level up. That
was so weird. I've never had an experience like that, with like it just steps up like that.
That's fairly normal here in all fairness. How far back that goes is another matter. But the thing is
you'd never be able to do that in the UK because people are dickheads.
Unfortunately not. You probably get people injured and like crushed
crushed by it.
But the funny thing is that like when we came in, like I said, it was a gap, and there was a couple of people who like obviously pushed their backs against those barriers because they wanted to be in the front section, but they wanted to be at the back so they could stand. And when we moved in, a couple of them, they wanted to obviously go out to get a drink. Yeah. And so they went out to get a drink, and I made very sure that when they came back, we gave them room and welcomed back into the space.
Their spot back.
Because I was like, we're going to be the good foreigners.
Yeah. I think they appreciate that, to be fair. Yeah. It's nice to be nice as well, sometimes.
It's nice to be nice sometimes. Most of the time you have to be a dick.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Most of the time you have to run out.
Unless you're Chris. Fuck you, Chris.
I'm good.
Well, there you go. I think we've pretty much covered all we wanted to cover. So, Band-Maid plus Neki as well. I mean, that was such a lovely sort of bonus onto that as well. Yeah, probably the disheartening thing as well. How many people walked past them, and I was like, "No, this is Neki. Do you not know who this is?"
It was kind of funny because there's a couple of guys like Numa, who's the guy who does a lot of the Band-Maid art. He also does great Neki art. We tried to chat to a couple of guys from the community afterwards, and they just kind of like said hello and then kind of walked away. But like we tried to chat to Nubu, and like when we chatted to Nubu, he clearly had just suddenly recognised Kanade, and he just fucking left. It like
To be fair, I'd walk away from us as well.
I will give one last story though. Sorry to go. So we started. We were heading towards my house, and then that's when we bumped into Kanade. Then we bumped into Kokoro, and she said, "Oh, Hika's back that way." So we went back to Hika, and then we finished talking to Hika, and we carried on walking this way, and then I was like, but my house is still back over there. So we had to turn around and walk past them. And as we're walking past them, we're like, yeah, my house is that way. Funny thing is, it's like I was chatting to Kanade, and I'd mentioned where I lived for a bit of a laugh because we were talking about he's from England. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm in Kinshito. And so as I walked past her, I was like, yeah, my house is that way. And she just started laughing. It's like, yeah, well,
it was an excuse, really. He wanted to walk past them again. He loved it.
Oh, she's going to get me in trouble. Anyway, there you go. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. As always, get in the comments. Tell us what you think. Wow. Do you know, we're so good at this that even without us recording this on Zoom, we've nearly pinned it to exactly 40 minutes.
Yes! muscle memory now.
All right. Thank you so much. As always, like I said, get in the comments. we will be back with more from here. We're going to be talking to Benedict. Benedict was off this week because he had a lot of work stuff, but we're going to be chatting to him online. The three of us will be talking as always. You're going to be with me for the next month. Obviously, the videos on Ears to These, they come out slightly tapered, so you're going to see some from before you were here and some while you're here, just over the next month or two. So just follow it. We'll keep you posted on when each bit of content was recorded. Try and get in our socials, all that kind of stuff. And until we hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these, remember to keep your ears
to... Oh, we can do it at the same time this time. We can actually point in
so
the same direction.
In the same direction. To the east.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Still can't do it.
Get out of my fucking house.
Oh.
It's fine. I have all that I need. I have all I need right here.